All right, guys, I'm with Connor, the brother of Lucas, who was a student of mine years ago. Like, I think it was one of my first students, actually, second student. And yeah, you became a developer. You worked with me in the program, and here we are sharing your experience going through the whole thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so Connor, by the way, everyone, I'm sorry for my dodgy camera. So I might freeze from time to time. So yeah, bro, tell me what's your current position? What do you do at work? And then we can go into like what were you doing before that?
Sure. Um, right now I'm a UI developer uh, on a 1 year contract for a click. And most of my days so far, I'm still very much in the onboarding stage. They have a lot of different micro repos and stuff like that for me to learn. So trying to fit all that together has been a bit of a learning curve.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it's been a lot of going through. They have me doing sort of the grunt work at the moment of bug fixing. So searching through like 5 repos for 4 hours to find one line of code that needs to change. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I can relate to that.
but
I've
it's
done that.
nice. It's nice to do that for money.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And what were you doing before you became a developer? What was your job? Were you
Uh,
like a math genius? Were
no,
you like yeah, what were you doing?
I was working a dead end minimum wage job and uh, decided that that's not something I wanted to do anymore. So I got started working on this, and you
What
know,
made you, what were you doing? Locksmith? Or that was Lucas?
that was Lucas. I was working at a scuba diving shop before I really started all this stuff.
Gotcha. And how old are you, by the way? 24?
26.
26, okay. And what made you say, you know what, fuck it, I don't wanna work this low end job anymore?
Well,
What triggered you?
it was COVID actually, because
COVID.
not a lot of people want to scuba dive anymore during COVID. So I was out of a job, and I realized I didn't want to be in this. It gave me a minute to think about where I was going
Hmm.
and didn't really have any prospects. And I decided that, uh, Lucas reached out to me and said, "Hey, programming is something that I know you'd be good at. It's something that, it's a booming industry right now, so you should really get into it." And I decided, to start working on by myself for a while until he put me in contact with you, Christian, and then we went on
I
from there.
think you were doing React when we met, right?
Yeah,
From Udemy.
yeah.
And what was the difference, like going through all those resources that I guess everyone, I want to start programming, I'm going to go to Udemy or Codecademy or Free Code Camp or
Hmm.
Coursera. I think those are the
Yeah.
maybe Scrimba nowadays.
Mhm.
What was it that made you say, okay, I need some pro help when it comes to this instead of like winging it, by myself?
Uh, Part of it was I got an interview. I had no idea. I was completely in
You had
over
an
my head.
interview.
Yeah, because I put in like a few months of work into this, and I could make a React web page, so I'll put that on
Uh-huh.
my
Uh-huh.
I could put that on my resume and I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And I got in and I showed this guy, and it was one of those interviews where the guy was just like, "Okay, show me what you got." He
Uh-huh.
didn't ask me questions. He didn't, you know, try to quiz my skills, though I wouldn't have been able
Yeah.
to get very far there either.
Yeah.
But he was just show me what you got, and I showed him, and he was like, "Okay, well, I've seen this like 16, 17 times." So
Oh, it was a clone from a Udemy course or what?
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's embarrassing,
And
huh? Yeah.
yeah, it was that, and also I had this like instant messaging app that used um Firestore
Firebase?
and stuff. Yeah. So uh and then he was like, "Okay, well, how does this work?" And I sort of realized that because I followed a tutorial to get there, I couldn't really describe how it worked. I was
Okay.
like, well, there's a list, and then every time the list is updated, and he's like, okay, well, what happens if, two people do it at the same time?
Uh-huh.
And
Because it's real
so,
time, right? The
yeah,
Firebase is real time, correct?
yeah. And so I had no idea how to answer. I realized that I was a lot more out of my depth than I thought. I was on the top of, Mount Stupid in the
Yeah.
graph of
You
confidence
had
and
like a
knowledge.
very shallow knowledge about
Yeah.
like what's happening there.
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so I
I mean,
realized that I really had to.
that's good. Actually, bro, I had the similar experience, you know. I managed to get an interview and the guy said, "Oh, I really like you. You seem like you're very passionate about this, but you have no projects. At least you had the project, you know. I
Mhm.
had no projects." Um, so yeah, okay, cool. And when you joined the program, was it like what you were expecting it to be? Like, what were you expecting when you got into this? Besides an Eastern European dude screaming at you.
Part of me, I mean, I had Lucas's good word to help, but part of me was still thinking of the usual reputation that code camps have sort of gotten of like here's basically a Udemy course. I'll take your $5,000. You're a developer now. Good luck.
Yeah, after three
Um,
months.
but there's a lot more support. Things were going on for a lot further, and you had a really um a forward thinking mindset. Like you weren't trying to just get us through, you're trying to get us jobs.
Yeah.
So,
That's actually true. Like you finished the program before I added the new team project, um, which is even more hardcore than what you've been through.
mhm.
And like honestly, when I'm speaking with the guys or whenever I'm in the meetings with them, I'm like a bit scared because some of them seem to know more than me, but don't tell that to anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. And yeah, I mean, it's all these interviews are pretty straightforward, you know. I've done that, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. In terms of like cash, because everyone is interested in that. Like, what were you making before, and what are you making now? Just let's touch on that, and then let's move on because I think that's what
Yeah, I
everyone is
was
like.
making
Oh,
like $16 Canadian an hour before. And after all this, I'm making $40 an hour now, which has made my paychecks about 2,000 bucks, a little
yeah.
bit north of that. So
Uh-huh.
it's been a big difference.
And you're just starting out, so if you keep going like
Yeah.
this, you should go
Yeah.
higher
Hmm.
in the next year or so. Do you have any plans for the future? Like, what's your
At the
career
moment,
trajectory?
I found a really convenient spot because it's in my city, which there is a decent tech industry, but I didn't expect to get anything local, something that I can actually go to an office for. And they've
Uh-huh.
got a whole lot of space for advancement and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to really impress these guys with the year I have here, and then get brought on permanently after that. But if not, I have a recruiter who helped me get this gig, so he's going
Yeah.
to be able to give me a hand with all the other local tech industry stuff.
Let me ask you this, bro, because we had our fights and disagreements, like with Lucas as well.
Mhm.
Um, how what would you do different if you do it again? Like
Well,
knowing that you got here at this point,
mhm.
how would you how
I
would you
mean,
approach this whole process again if you could have another shot?
in regards to the whole process, I mean, consistency is key. Being able to
Mhm.
come in and study it and work on it and apply and apply and apply and apply and apply until your eyes roll back into your head. Um, but also in regards just for job searching, um,
When you say
reaching,
apply, you mean apply the knowledge and apply the knowledge and apply the knowledge, yeah?
yeah, but also just apply, apply, apply for jobs.
Hmm.
Because there were times where, like I'd feel kind of down and out where I would have, sent out like 10, 15 applications every
Hmm.
day for 2, 3, 4 weeks straight and get nothing.
Hmm.
I'd say, especially when I started really applying in earnest, it was kind of a bad time because it was right after the big, AI boom.
Yeah.
And suddenly
What
every,
wasn't even the AI boom actually. It was more like the layoffs and whatnot, right?
yeah. So there was a lot of, it was not the easiest time to get into the industry. Absolutely not. But
Yeah,
yeah, so it's just, you got to have that diligence, you have to have that, just, even though you don't want to, you have to go back into it day after day to make sure, uh, you know, because it's all about playing the numbers and it's all about getting that one opportunity.
exactly. And what like I guess the reason why like most people and including myself like we all know what we have to do, right? Like if I ask you, bro, like if you want to become whatever,
Hmm.
uh I mean, you can watch a YouTube video and whatnot, and then you know the basic principles that you need to, implement to get where you want to get. It's not rocket science, you know? Like, hey, if you want to become Mr. Olympia, all you have to do is diet hard, work out,
Hmm.
get on steroids, and then in like 5, 7 years, you'll probably have a shot at it, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think um happens in your brain when you don't get that quick dopamine, because it's all about dopamine if you really think about it, because if
Yeah.
you feel sad, you eat a chocolate, you feel good, right? It's like
Hmm.
instant. Or you're bored, you watch YouTube or a Netflix show, and then instantly you are in a better mood, right? But
Hmm.
when it comes to programming, developing your skills and applying to jobs, like it's a very delayed gratification model, right? You do something
Hmm.
today, then in 6 months you're gonna get something out of it. So
Yeah.
how let's say now you're a front-end developer, and then let's say in a year's time you wanna work at Google, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, going from 0 to 1 is way harder than going from 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
But mm, how would you make yourself cope with that pain of not getting what you want when you do the work that you are doing, like the sacrifices, like dealing with your, I guess, insecurities, right? You do have insecurities. I have insecurities, like, oh, is
Yeah.
this gonna work? How would you deal with this now?
Uh, well, it was really a just like you can't, the more you think about the large scale of it, the more you think about like, I've been doing this for this amount of time and I'm still not where I want, and you just can't think that way. Like all you sort of have to do a one step after the other,
Hmm.
you know. The next step you take is the most important one you can take.
Yeah.
So, uh, you know, it ends up working out in the end, and you sort of have to use that idea to cope.
Yeah.
But I mean, I won't lie, it wasn't fun. It wasn't something that I want to go through again at all.
Yeah. Well, I remember.
It was, so I found that having other people there to help keep you consistent is really good. People you can't ignore, people who, preferably have at least an idea of what you're trying to do,
Hmm.
and can keep you honest and can keep you consistent and can say, hey, even so much as just getting on a call with somebody, for like 15 minutes is like, okay, well, let's talk about the jobs that you applied to today.
Just to vent a little bit, right?
Yeah, just a vent, but also, to keep you honest. Because if you're like, okay, well, did you apply to 100 places this week? Okay, well, we're not going to go through all 100 places. And so, the slacker in you is like, well, I could just pretend that I did 100.
Yeah, but then at
Or,
the end of the day, you are cheating yourself.
yeah.
It-
But
yeah.
what, especially in those like the long marathons, you know, you start to want to cheat every once in a while.
Hmm.
Or at least I found that that's how I felt. And having someone there who's like, okay, well, tell me what you did today. Let's
Hmm.
go through every single one and, you know, talk about what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. what the
Mm-hmm.
requirements are, and that I found really helpful.
Mm-hmm. It's like you do stuff and then you end up being like NPC about it, and then
Hmm.
you just do stuff and then you don't realize like, hey, maybe I should like think about what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Maybe there's something that I'm missing,
yeah,
and it's like basically snapping out of your head and like getting into like the present. I don't want to sound too much like woo
hmm,
woo, but like just stopping for a second. Hey, am I actually? I can do shit, right? I can do stuff, but am I really doing this to the best of my abilities, or I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it? You
yeah,
know, because right now I have a couple of guys. They are about to start applying and whatnot, and August was is horrible for hiring, same as November, December, January, and February.
hmm,
So I asked him like, "Hey, what did you do?" He's like, "Oh, I applied a few times here and there." Okay, but do you have numbers? Like, what did you do? Did you reach out to those people? Did you do that, that, that? He's like,
hmm,
"Oh shit, no, I didn't do any of that." So
yeah,
it's good that we spoke. The problem was that I didn't even know that the guy is applying for a month.
yeah,
So just tell me what you're doing so I can, sort you out.
hmm.
Okay. Um, all in all, like, was this man, this Zoom is pissing me off. Was this whole thing worth it for you? Like, I see all these doomers online, they're talking about like, oh, web dev is not worth it, or like programming is not worth it, blah blah, and they still, work in the scuba dive shop, or
Yeah.
like they're
Work at
still doing
McDonald's or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you do you think it's still worth it? Was it worth the effort and the, you know,
I mean, yeah. Like it's been on top of the money because everybody likes the money, and
yeah.
it's sort of the easiest thing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also you get a different feeling in yourself. When
Mm,
like you get a different confidence in yourself when you're not when you know your boss couldn't just grab some guy off the street and have them do your job like at a
mm-hmm.
McDonald's, you know, have people who care about
Mm-hmm.
what you think and actually be working with other people to create something uh interesting and worthwhile. I find
I
has like
never
a
thought about it in this way.
yeah, I mean it's a self-respect thing, you know. Nobody
Uh-huh.
wants to be, 26 working at McDonald's. And so you know, it's also
It's
just
like,
been a huge boost to finally, to set the goal, to go after it, to work for it, and to finally get it
hmm
is
what
huge.
goals do you have after this? What's your next goal?
My next goal is
It doesn't have to be related to the job, like something else.
well, I've been stuck in French Canada for quite a while, so I suppose learning French would be my next big goal because that also
Oh,
opens up a lot of professional
I would
opportunities.
say it's time to move out of French Canada, but
Maybe,
whatever, yeah.
maybe. But then I went and, proposed to a French girl, so I suppose I got to do it now.
Oh shit. Okay, okay. You are cooked. I
Yep.
was the worst at French. I don't know what's the rating in Canadian schools, but we are graded from 1 to 10, and we have two semesters, right? The
Mhm.
first semester I was averaging 3, and then the second one 7. So I can
Yeah.
average at the end of the year 5, so I can pass the class. So I never had a good time with French, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember when I was in my French classes in high school, I only took one because that's all you needed. And I was like, I'm never going to go anywhere near French Canada. I don't care.
yeah, man. Maybe you
And
should
look
move
where we
out
are.
to Canada, bro. That should be like a good next step.
Yeah.
I heard what not Peru, but there's another South American country that is pretty popular right now. But I suck at South America. Let me see. Because I heard there are a lot of digital nomads there. Let me
Mhm.
see. South America, Colombia, that's where I want to go, but for reasons I cannot disclose on this testimonial. Let's see. I think it was called. What the fuck is it? Maybe it was underneath. Anyway, whatever. Whatever, man. I'm really bad at geography, So
No
not
worries.
Mexico, maybe Central America. Fuck, man. No, I'm gonna be
I'm also been thinking about going over to Portugal.
Costa Rica. That's the name.
Ah, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and Portugal is pretty good actually. They have very good taxes.
Good
And
taxes. Everything's cheap down there.
yeah, exactly.
Gorgeous place, though.
And if you learn French, you can actually, learn Portuguese fairly easy.
Yep.
So that's good. Man, I hate the fact that my Zoom is frozen. But yeah, cool, bro. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you being here.
No
Um,
worries.
you pissed me off a few times, but I'm happy that we
Made it in
finally
the end.
got you. Yes, that we made
Yeah.
it in the end.
Mhm.
Um, my advice for you would be like just ignore, the emotions, just just push harder, fuck that. I'm also getting emotional over things, and then I always realize, looking back, I should have just failed faster, like just
Mhm.
get over it, just do it faster, because like dealing with your emotions is not really gonna help you out, it's not
Mhm.
gonna like succumbing to your emotions. I think that's
Yeah.
how I feel about these things. It's not gonna matter in 10 years, so
Mhm.
any closing uh, words, I guess.
Uh, you just have to keep going, even when you want to just roll your face across the keyboard and try to find a good recruiter because those people are like gold.
Related to regarding the keyboard, bro, I'm coding my own app right now.
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, man. Sometimes I want to throw the keyboard off the
Hmm.
from the window.
Yeah.
It's super annoying. I forgot how hard coding is.
You've been out of the
Uh,
game too long.
no, but I'm like, whenever I see you guys, I'm like, why are you guys not faster? And then I realize, oh wait, this is actually hard.
Hmm.
So one more thing. Who would you recommend this to? Like, who would be the ideal person for this program?
Uh, somebody who, um, who's the best person for this? Somebody who really wants to become more.
Hmm.
Because if you just here for the money, if you're not going to get any satisfaction out of it, like, you need something more than just a paycheck someday to get through those sorts of days.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like maybe the paycheck is, what makes you think of when you
Get
look
you
at your
started.
bank account and you're like, well, fuck this. But everywhere you look, you see the people say, you got to do more. You got to need more than just the money, or you're not going to be able to do it.
Well, that's true, bro. I've tried also some other business models.
Hmm.
And every time I try them, I'm like, fuck, I'm not getting any satisfaction from this. It's like I make some cash, yeah, but it doesn't feel good. So that's kind of why I stuck with this. Because,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a business, makes money, but at the end of the day, like hearing stories like yours or like Connor or like Mache or like Kieran or whatever, makes me like, oh shit, I actually had some impact.
Hmm.
It sounds woo and cringe or whatever. People are like, oh, whatever, he speaks like that. But at the end of the day, like, feels good, to see like
Yeah.
you guys are set, maybe not set for life, but you have a skill that you can from now on develop on your own. And from now on, you have more autonomy, because
Yeah.
with money, with like self-confidence, like you can try other things and you can do other
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Cool, bro. I guess that's it. You didn't see me that much. I was here, like, so I was trying to have an animated face, but
Don't worry. You
you know,
stared into the camera enough for me to look at your eyes, so I don't look weird on the
yeah,
video.
exactly. Now look at this. That's how my face looks like right now. It's stuck, so it's fairly animated. So yeah, cool, man. I'll let you go.
All right,
If you need anything, hit me up. Yeah.
we'll do. Um, who that I was with in Developer Pro or in Squared still needs work.
I have a few good guys. Canadian based?
Yeah, and hopefully because
Hit up
my
Zach.
okay, I'll ask around and see.
Zach. Harpreet is doing stuff.
Okay.
Uh, but Harpreet doesn't want a job. He wants to freelance, so he's freelancing right now.
Well,
But hit up Zach.
all right. Sure thing.
I'll add this at the end of the video. Cool, bro.
Okay. All right.
Speak with you soon, yeah?
Yep. See ya.
Peace out. Peace bump. Boom.